Thank you so much, Acting Chair, and I also like to speak in favour of the motion moved by the member for Frome and thank him for numerous occasions, I know, since we've been in the House together, for speaking up on these issues. So incredibly, about 8 Australians take their life every day by suicide in Australia. It's quite an incredible statistic. Of those many thousands who take their own life, over 75% are male. Each year, a further 65,000 Australians attempt suicide, and a further 1 million reach out to Lifeline for support. With Lifeline supporting or taking a call about every 30 seconds. So just in those stats in and of themselves is quite phenomenal. And I think we all know, all of us in this chamber are affected by suicide and know people who have attempted to take their lives or may have taken their life, and it is distressing for all of us. As the member for Frome alluded to, we all have our challenges with mental health, and the most important thing to do is to be able to talk about it, to be able to know where to go, and most importantly, be able to speak in an open and in a protected environment, which is so important. So, as the member for Frome alluded to in his contribution, it's so important for us to reach out and to be able to be listened to, and also to listen on behalf of people as well. As the member for Mount Gambier alluded to in his contribution, there are thousands of volunteers and people who work in the mental health space across our communities. And as the member for Heysen said, he's got a suicide prevention group in Strath, and I've got a very active one in the Mitcham Hills as well. And I'd like to thank Robin Lynn and the very young and young at heart Mary Strange, who's well into her 90s now, but actively participates in the Mitcham Hills Suicide Prevention Network group, and I thank them for their advocacy in my community. As the motion alludes to, it's about awareness and reducing the stigma around mental health and suicide, and it's using the 4-step method that can help save lives. And that's first of all by asking, are you okay? And then it's about listening, actively listening, and to engage. If someone has experienced difficulties, encourage them to take action by finding a relevant organisation, counselling service, or visiting a GP. And issues as big as these, they can't be left unmet. I was going to say untreated, but unmet I think is a more important word to use. Start up that conversation. Talk to your families and friends. That is so important. And I think as members of Parliament, doing exactly what the member for Frome has done in his motion about talking about the issues. Yesterday, myself and I know many of the colleagues in here signed the National Communications Charter, which is the pledge to help reduce the stigma around mental health and promote the use of safe language when discussing mental illness or suicide. And I think that the use of safe language is so important. For example, we know, especially in the media, especially in a political context, media use very inflammatory language. They might say, political suicide, or noose around a neck is quite a common theme that you'll hear used by journalists in relation to politics and politicians. This language is most unhelpful. It is unnecessary, and we know there is a whole body of work that has been done in the community about the right language. And I really think it's not just important for us as members of Parliament to use the right language around these issues, but also for those in the media when talking and describing politics, is to not use words associated with the stigma of mental health or with the words associated with the suicide, and that's a real reach out to everyone who works in the media. The National Communications Charter is a resource for uniting people to align with the 2017 to 2021 South Australian Suicide Prevention Plan, and I said it's very worthy of us MPs to sign up, to use the right language, and to support our communities, as the member for Frome is doing in his community, to raise awareness, to beat this terrible infliction on our society.